Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something important today. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate, by what you accept, by what you continue to entertain. You are not an option, you are not a backup plan, and you certainly are not somebody's afterthought. You are valuable, and if somebody doesn't see that, that's their loss, not yours. Your worth is not determined by the way others treat you, it is determined by the way you see yourself. The biggest mistake people make is allowing someone else's opinion to shape their identity. When you rely on the approval of others to feel valuable, you place your self-worth in their hands. And let me tell you something, those hands are often careless, indifferent, or even destructive. Think about this. If a $100 bill is crumpled, stepped on, or thrown away, does it lose its value? No. It is still worth the same because its value is not based on how it is treated, it is based on what it is. And just like that bill, your value does not decrease because someone fails to see it. But here's the truth. The way you see yourself will determine how others see you. If you walk into a room unsure of your worth, people will pick up on it. If you allow disrespect, they will keep testing your limits. If you lower your standards to fit in, you will always be treated like an afterthought. You set the standard for how people treat you. We live in a world where people will try to make you feel small. They will dismiss your ideas, overlook your efforts, and act as if your presence doesn't matter. But understand this. How they see you is their perspective. How you see yourself is your power. You cannot allow someone else's inability to recognize your worth to convince you that you are not valuable. There will be moments in life when you feel unseen. You will give your best and it will go unnoticed. You will show up and they won't acknowledge you. You will care deeply and they won't return the same energy. And in those moments, you will have two choices. You can shrink yourself, trying to prove your worth, or you can stand tall and understand that their blindness does not define your brilliance. Your worth is not in the hands of your employer, your friends, your family, or society. It is not based on your title, your bank account, or how many people like you. It is in you. It is in the way you carry yourself. It is in the way you respect yourself. In the way you walk away from things that no longer serve you. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop seeking approval from those who have no intention of giving it. You stop lowering yourself to be accepted in spaces that were never meant for you. People will treat you based on the standard you set for yourself. If you believe you are worthy of love, respect, and kindness, you will not tolerate anything less. So, decide today, who do you say you are? What do you believe you deserve? Because the moment you answer that question, the world will adjust accordingly. People spend their lives chasing validation, hoping that if they try a little harder, give a little more, or prove themselves just one more time, they will finally be valued. But the truth is, you should never have to beg for what should be freely given. Respect, appreciation, and kindness should not be rewards for how much you endure. They should be the foundation of any relationship, whether personal or professional. When you chase people who don't value you, you are handing them power over your self-worth. You are saying, "Tell me I'm enough." But the problem is, when someone doesn't see your worth, nothing you do will ever be enough for them. You could give them your time, your energy, your love, your loyalty, and they will still take you for granted. Why? Because they were never looking for your value in the first place. People who truly care about you will see your worth without you having to prove it. They will respect you without you having to ask. They will support you without you having to beg. If you constantly have to fight for a place in someone's life, you are in the wrong place. If you feel like you have to earn basic respect, you are surrounded by the wrong people. Think about this. When someone treats you as an option, it's because they believe you'll always be there, waiting for them to recognize your value. And the more you tolerate being an afterthought, the more they will keep you in that position. You must understand that your presence is not a privilege for them. It is a privilege for you to decide who gets access to it. Let go of the need to prove yourself to people who have already made it clear that they don't value you. Let go of the desperation to be liked by those who don't even take the time to understand you. The right people will see you, appreciate you, and respect you without you having to exhaust yourself trying to earn it. Some doors remain closed for a reason. Some people don't appreciate you because they were never meant to. And some spaces make you feel small because you were never meant to fit in. Stop forcing what isn't meant for you. The more time you spend chasing people who don't value you, the less time you have to build with those who do. Not everyone is meant to recognize your worth, and that's okay. The right people, the ones who matter, will never make you feel like you have to prove yourself. They will celebrate your presence, not take it for granted. So stop chasing, stop explaining, stop proving. Start walking with the confidence of someone who knows they are enough. Because the moment you stop seeking validation from the wrong people, you make space for the right ones to enter your life. People will only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. If you do not set boundaries, they will push limits. If you do not demand respect, they will take advantage of your kindness. And if you keep forgiving repeated disrespect without consequence, they will assume you are okay with it. The truth is, you cannot expect others to value you if you do not show them how. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about protecting yourself. They are about deciding what you will and will not tolerate. And most importantly, they are about self-respect. When you set a boundary, you are making a statement. I value myself enough to protect my energy, my peace, and my well-being. If someone cannot respect that, then they do not deserve access to you. Many people are afraid to set boundaries because they fear losing relationships. They worry about pushing people away or being seen as difficult. But here's the reality. Anyone who truly respects and values you will never be offended by your boundaries. They will understand that they are necessary for a healthy relationship. The only people who will be upset by your boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. There will always be people who take more than they give, who expect your loyalty but never return it, who use your kindness but never appreciate it. And the more you allow it, the more they will continue. You must decide how much access someone has to you. If a person constantly drains your energy, they should not have unlimited access to your time. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, they should not get multiple chances to do it again. You do not have to explain or justify your boundaries. You do not need permission to protect your peace. Saying no is a complete sentence. Walking away from toxic people is self-care, not selfishness. If someone cannot respect your limits, it is not your job to convince them they are simply not meant to be in your life. Some people will test your boundaries just to see if you will enforce them. They will try to make you feel guilty, manipulate you into bending, or act like you are being unreasonable. Stand firm. The moment you compromise on your boundaries, you teach them that they can cross them whenever they want. But the moment you enforce them, you teach them that you will not tolerate anything less than the respect you deserve. You deserve relationships, whether personal, professional, or social, that are built on mutual respect and appreciation, and that starts with you. The way you allow people to treat you is a reflection of how you see yourself. So decide today, what are your standards? What will you no longer accept? Because the moment you set clear boundaries and stand by them, you will notice something powerful. The wrong people will disappear, and the right ones will step up. There comes a point in life when you have to stop explaining yourself, stop proving yourself, and stop hoping that people will suddenly recognize your worth. Some people will never see it, not because you lack value, but because they were never meant to. And that is okay. Your time, energy, and presence are too valuable to waste on people who do not appreciate them. Walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is knowing when a situation no longer serves you. It is understanding that your peace is more important than someone else's opinion of you. When people consistently show you that they do not value you, believe them. Do not stay in spaces where you are constantly overlooked, disrespected, or made to feel like you are not enough. You have always been enough. And the moment you start believing that, everything changes. People hold on to relationships, whether friendships, family, or professional connections, that no longer align with their growth. They fear what will happen if they leave. They fear loneliness, judgment, or uncertainty. But what they fail to realize is that holding on to the wrong people only keeps them from finding the right ones. When you let go of those who do not value you, you make room for those who do. Walking away does not mean cutting people off in anger. It does not mean burning bridges or carrying bitterness. It simply means choosing yourself. It means recognizing that you deserve relationships where you are valued, not tolerated. It means understanding that your worth is not up for debate. Not everyone in your life is meant to stay forever. Some people are lessons, some are temporary connections, and some are distractions. And when you realize that, you stop forcing relationships that were never meant to be permanent. You stop expecting loyalty from people who only come around when it is convenient. You stop hoping that one day they will finally see your worth. Leaving does not always mean physically walking away. It can also mean emotional detachment. Sometimes you have to mentally and emotionally distance yourself from people who drain you, even if they are still in your life. You stop investing in one-sided relationships. You stop pouring into people who never pour back into you. You stop allowing their lack of appreciation to affect how you see yourself. You are not created to spend your life proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. The right people, whether friends, partners, colleagues, or mentors, will recognize your value without you having to convince them. They will respect you, appreciate you, and uplift you. And those are the people you should focus on. So if someone does not see your worth, do not argue, do not beg, do not try to change their mind, just walk away with grace and confidence. Because the moment you do, you send a message not just to them, but to yourself. I know my worth and I refuse to settle for less. Life is too short to waste your energy on people who do not see you, appreciate you, or respect you. Too often, people spend their time trying to convince the wrong individuals of their worth, when the truth is, the right people will recognize it without you having to prove anything. The relationships you build should be with those who see your value, not just when they need something from you, but in your everyday presence. Imagine pouring water into a cracked cup. No matter how much you give, it will never be full. Some people in your life are just like that. No matter how much love, effort, or support you provide, they will never reciprocate it. They will take, and take without ever considering what you need in return. And the longer you keep pouring, the more drained you become. That is why you must choose wisely who you invest your time and energy into. The right people will not make you feel invisible. They will not leave you questioning whether you are good enough. They will not only show up when it is convenient for them, instead they will celebrate your wins, stand by you in your struggles, and remind you of your worth even when you forget it yourself. These are the people who truly matter, and these are the relationships that deserve your investment. When you surround yourself with people who uplift you, something powerful happens. You grow. You become stronger, more confident, and more at peace with yourself. You no longer seek validation from those who refuse to give it, because the right people are already pouring into you. They remind you of your strengths, encourage you to reach higher, and support your journey without jealousy or hidden agendas. But finding these people requires something from you as well. You must be willing to let go of those who do not align with your growth. You must stop chasing relationships that leave you feeling empty. You must be intentional about who you allow into your space, because your energy is precious, and not everyone deserves access to it. This does not mean you cut people off with bitterness. It simply means that you prioritize yourself the same way you have prioritized others. It means you no longer allow one-sided relationships to drain you. It means you choose quality over quantity when it comes to the people in your life. You cannot force anyone to value you, but you can decide where you invest your time. You can choose relationships that nurture your growth instead of those that stunt it. You can build connections with people who inspire you, challenge you, and make you better. Take a look at the people around you. Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they celebrating you or only tolerating you? Because the company you keep will either elevate you or drain you. Choose wisely. Invest in those who see you and let go of those who don't. Your worth is not something that needs to be proven, negotiated, or defended. It simply exists. The moment you realize this, everything in your life begins to change. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop allowing people to mistreat you. You stop waiting for someone else to recognize your value because you recognize it yourself. The way you see yourself sets the tone for how others will see you. If you carry yourself with confidence, people will respond to that energy. If you respect yourself, others will learn to respect you. But if you allow yourself to be treated as an afterthought, people will assume that's all you're worth. You cannot afford to shrink yourself to fit into places that were never meant for you. You cannot keep waiting for others to validate you when you should already know your own value. When you walk into a room, walk in with the knowledge that you belong there, not because someone else said so, but because you believe it yourself. There will always be people who underestimate you, who overlook you, who fail to appreciate you. That is not a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of their vision. Some people are simply not capable of seeing you for who you truly are. But you must never let their blindness define your brilliance. It is not arrogance to know your worth. It is self-respect. And self-respect means setting standards for how you will be treated. It means walking away from people who do not appreciate you. It means refusing to entertain situations that make you feel small. One of the most powerful things you can ever do is stop waiting for permission to be great. Stop looking for approval to take up space. Stop needing reassurance that you are enough. You are already enough, right now in this moment, without any conditions, without any explanations. When you start believing in your own value, you begin to attract people and opportunities that align with that belief. You no longer waste time trying to convince the wrong people of your worth. Instead, you invest in those who already see it. You align yourself with those who respect and uplift you. This shift in mindset changes everything. It gives you the strength to set boundaries without guilt. It allows you to walk away from toxic relationships without hesitation. It helps you stand firm in who you are, even when others try to make you doubt yourself. It all comes down to a choice. Will you define your worth, or will you let others do it for you? Because the moment you decide to see yourself for the valuable person you truly are, the world will adjust accordingly. So stand tall, speak with confidence, move with purpose, and never, ever settle for less than what you deserve. Because the most powerful thing you can ever do is know your worth, and never let anyone make you question it. The world has a way of testing you. It will place people in your life who challenge your confidence, who overlook your efforts, who make you feel as if you have to constantly prove yourself just to be seen. But here's the truth. Your value does not decrease just because someone fails to recognize it. People base their self-worth on how others treat them. If someone appreciates them, they feel good. If someone ignores them, they start questioning themselves. If they are rejected, they assume something is wrong with them. But this mindset is dangerous because it puts your value in the hands of people who were never meant to define you. Some people will never see your worth, not because it isn't there, but because they are not capable of recognizing it. Maybe they are too distracted by their own insecurities. Maybe they are too self-absorbed to appreciate you. Maybe they simply do not have the vision to see your greatness. But that is their limitation, not yours. Your worth is not dependent on anyone else's opinion. It is not measured by how many people approve of you, how many invitations you receive, or how many compliments you hear. It is not something that can be given or taken away by another person. It is something that exists within you. When you understand this, you stop letting people's actions dictate how you feel about yourself. You stop seeking validation from those who were never meant to give it. You stop lowering yourself just to fit into spaces that were never designed for you. There will be moments when people ignore your contributions, when your kindness is taken for granted, when your presence is overlooked. Do not let these moments make you question your worth. Instead, remind yourself of what you bring to the table. Remind yourself of the times you showed up for others, the skills you have, the qualities that make you unique. Because just because someone does not acknowledge your value does not mean it isn't there. Think about a diamond buried underground. Its worth does not change just because no one sees it. It remains valuable, waiting for the right person to recognize it. You are the same. Just because someone fails to appreciate you does not mean you are not valuable. It simply means they are not the right person to see it. You are not meant to waste your time proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. The right people will recognize your value without you having to convince them. They will respect you, appreciate you, and support you simply because they know you are worth it. So, never let someone else's inability to see your greatness make you question yourself. Your value is not up for negotiation. Stand firm in who you are and know that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right places will always align with you when you refuse to settle for anything less. The most powerful shift you can make in life is realizing that your happiness, confidence, and self-worth should never be placed in the hands of other people. The moment you allow someone else to determine how valuable you are, you give them control over your peace. You give them the power to define you. But the truth is, you are the only person who gets to decide your worth. Too many people waste their energy chasing approval, trying to be liked, trying to be accepted, trying to prove they are worthy of respect. They adjust their personalities, silence their opinions, and tolerate mistreatment just to feel included. But the reality is, if you have to fight for someone's respect, it was never real to begin with. Self-worth is not something you beg for. It is something you establish. It is something you own. And the way you carry yourself, the standards you set, and the way you allow people to treat you will always reflect how much you believe in your own value. If you let people walk all over you, they will. If you keep tolerating disrespect, they will continue to test your limits. But the moment you decide that you are enough as you are, without needing approval, validation, or permission, you change the entire game. Confidence is not about arrogance. It is about certainty. It is about knowing deep within yourself that you are valuable, regardless of who acknowledges it. You do not need applause to know you are great. You do not need someone else's words to tell you that you matter. You do not need constant reassurance to confirm your worth. When you truly understand your value, you stop trying to convince others of it. Not everyone will like you, not everyone will appreciate you, and that is perfectly fine. The goal is not to be liked by everyone. The goal is to be respected by the right people and true to yourself. Some doors will close, some people will walk away, some spaces will not welcome you, but none of these things define your value. They only redirect you to where you truly belong. Think of the most successful, respected, and influential people in history. They were not admired by everyone. They had critics, they had doubters, they had people who tried to discredit them. But their worth was never determined by their opposition. It was determined by their belief in themselves. And that is the key, belief. If you believe in your worth, the world will adjust accordingly. If you set the standard for how you should be treated, the right people will respect it. If you stop seeking validation and start living in your truth, you will attract those who genuinely appreciate you. So stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you are enough. Stop depending on external validation to feel confident. Decide today, right now, that you are valuable, that you are worthy, and that you will never again allow anyone else to determine your self-worth. Because the moment you fully embrace that truth, you will never settle for less than you deserve. In conclusion, the secret to dealing with people who don't value you is not to chase after their validation or constantly try to prove your worth. Instead, it lies in recognizing that your value is inherent, and it does not depend on the opinions of others. By setting boundaries, choosing the right relationships, and learning to walk away from those who take you for granted, you begin to take back control over your peace and your self-worth. You stop allowing others to dictate how you see yourself and start living with the confidence of someone who knows they are enough, just as they are. Your worth is not for negotiation, it is not for sale, and it is certainly not something that should be earned from the wrong people. Once you make this shift, you will attract those who truly value you and support you on your journey. And in doing so, you will create a life surrounded by those who understand and honor the incredible person you are. So stop seeking validation from those who cannot see you for who you truly are. Walk confidently in your own worth and trust that the right people and opportunities will always find their way to you. Remember this: you are enough. You have always been enough. And the moment you start acting like it, you'll see how quickly things change. Stop waiting for people to see your value. See it for yourself, because the most powerful thing you can ever do is know your worth and never settle for less. Thank you.